A speedy welcome to the show for everyone. This is SPEEDy Talk on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM, and SPEEDy Talk is a program for the youth. It's where we discuss different things that concern and affect the youth. And I am your host, Aondonase King James, and I'm not alone in the studio. I'm with...
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Clement Sampson.
And our focus for today is, should a guy know how to cook? So I think people have spoken about this. People have usually argued about this. Should a guy know how to cook? Should a guy not know how to cook? Should he be in the kitchen and all that? So Clement, I'm going to ask you straight. Should a guy know how to cook?
Yeah. Okay. I think it's to the guy's advantage if he knows how to cook.
Okay, so what are those different advantages that he will have if he knows how to cook?
Now, you see, the thing is, there are plenty of advantages to it. Okay, but so I'll just limit myself. So like I'll spend the whole day trying to outline, because I don't need to convince guys to know how to cook. If you choose not to know how to cook, well, that's your problem. But here are the advantages, some of them, okay, I would say. Now, for obvious reasons, I mean, it saves you costs. I mean, it helps you save cash. Because now, if you go to these people who sell food by the wayside, okay, we normally call them mama put. Good. Now, last time I checked, like a plate of food runs somewhere close to 1,000 naira if it's not up to 1,000 naira. Okay. Now, assuming you yourself as a guy, you could take that amount of money. Now, in a day, you might eat 3 times. Okay, now if you're spending 1,000 naira per meal, okay, and then you went 3 meals, okay, breakfast, lunch, and supper, then that means you'd be spending somewhere around 3,000 naira. Now that could help you prepare meal that you could eat in the morning to come back for it in the afternoon, and it would still be available for you in the evening, unless you choose not to go for it because you just feel like you're done with it. You want to eat something new. Okay, so that's the obvious reason. Now it saves you cost. Okay. Then also, if you're talking about the next thing, it will be, I mean, it's just cool. It's just cool. I mean, in terms of impression, like it gives that good impression about that. Let me not say good impression, but that great impression about that cool impression about you. So now this impression thing I'm talking about here is like you could use it to impress a girl. Yeah, that's one. But let's not just keep it at that. You can use it to even impress your family members. Okay, you can use it to impress your mom. You understand? Now, assuming your mom never even knew you could cook as a guy, and then you put in the effort to learn how to cook. Maybe while she's doing it, you just sort of like come around, not making it obvious to her that you came around to learn how she does it. But over time, you had been studying her. and you had also been watching cook videos maybe on YouTube, and then over time you accumulated this knowledge, and then you used it at one point to test yourself out, and then you used it to surprise your mom. Isn't that cool?
It is.
It's so cool.
It is.
Okay, so it can help you impress people easily because it reflects you as a thoughtful person. Okay, somebody who puts in the effort to make things happen. These are just two that I mentioned. There are plenty more. All right, there are plenty more.
Okay, you're listening to Speedy Talk on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM, and our focus for today is, should a guy know how to cook? Now, you can also call and tell us if you think a guy should know how to cook, and the number to call is 090 36 48 5868. That's 090 36 48 5868. So you can call and tell us, do you think a guy should know how to cook? Okay, so Clement, you've given different advantages of why a guy should know how to cook and all that. So let me ask you straight, do you know how to cook as a guy?
Now you see the thing, if I don't know how to cook, I wouldn't have been able to tell you the advantages to it.
Okay.
Yes.
So, okay.
That's just what it is.
Okay. So obviously, all these advantages, I'm very sure you've experienced.
They are first-hand experiences for me. I can beat my chest like King Kong.
Okay.
Boastfully and tell anybody, yo, I can cook.
Okay, you can cook. Is your food delicious?
Now hold on. Let me let me say this. Okay, there are tons of ladies out there who can cook more than me. Okay. So when I'm bragging about me being able to cook, I say that in competition with my fellow guys. Okay. But when it comes to ladies, I first of all come in humility and I say, but you just might be able to cook way more than me. Until we do the real thing, we try ourselves out, and then when I discover that I can even cook way better than her, because face it, there are so many ladies out there whom I can cook way better than them.
Okay, I see. Okay, let me ask. I think for me, a guy knowing how to cook is actually cool. It's a cool thing. But do you think, I don't know, that's like a red flag for some other girls and ladies?
Yeah, I think you make a whole lot of sense when you said that thing. Okay, so to some ladies, it may be a cool thing for a guy to know how to cook. For some, it will be a red flag for them. Okay, now this did not happen to me. This did not happen to me, but I know of a friend, okay, who had an altercation with his girlfriend as of then. Okay, and then you know, ladies, a whole lot of ladies are so smart that they have tricks up their sleeves in terms of putting their man in a tight corner. So if he offends them, they know how to deal with him. Okay, good. So in some lady's case, of which this lady whom I'm talking about here, that was her case, one of her tricks up her sleeve was, okay, if he offends me, if he makes me upset, I'm not going to cook for him. Okay. So she decided that because this guy had upset her, she wasn't going to cook for him. Okay. So from what I gathered from my friend, he said they went out together, they bought the ingredients, okay, that they were going to use in preparing that meal, and then they had this argument, and then she just sort of like ignored the ingredients they went out to buy, and she wasn't going to go prepare the meal. And then he himself, turns out he knows how to cook. Okay. And he went and took the ingredients and prepared the meal for himself. Okay. You see, so he had bypassed that thing she wanted to use in sort of like putting him in a tight corner. He bypassed it. Okay, now for him to have been able to do that, for him to have done so, that got her further upset at him. Okay. Because he robbed her of the chance to get even with him. Okay, so that got her even more upset. Now that's one, let me say that's one advantage for a guy who knows how to cook. Independence. Okay. Yes, you will not be relying on anybody to prepare your meals for you. You cannot starve. Okay, because that guy's girl wanted to starve him, but but then she ended up failing because he knew his way around it.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
So yeah, it could be a red flag.
Okay, for some ladies.
For some ladies, yeah.
Okay, you're listening to Speedy Talk on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. And you can also call and tell us, do you think a guy should know how to cook? And the number to call is 090 3648 5868. 090 3648 5868. Okay, so Clement, I've heard some guys that claim they know how to cook. Okay, sometimes they say they know how to cook as they're on their own, they can cook for themselves, but once they marry, they are never going to enter the kitchen ever again because what's the woman for? And I'm like, it's cool, but you mean you can't just like maybe just cook, just a little at home? But they're like, no, how would I get married and be cooking? So what do you think about that?
Okay, now let me start like this. Now I've watched the movie, and amongst guys there's something called bro code. Called bro code. So I watched the movie, and this guy confronted his friend and he slapped him in the face and told him, never go against the guys.
Okay.
Okay. Now it's not like I want to go against the guys. I just want to be logical here. Okay. From all the advantages that I cited so far, independence, giving a good impression, saving you cost, I mean, I think guys who would say stuff like that, they're getting it wrong. Okay, and I'm not breaking any bro code here. I'm just saying what is real.
Okay.
What is logical.
Okay,
so if it's for these reasons alone, okay, a guy should not even talk like that, because you being able to spend a fun time with your family, you see there are very many ways to create family activity. One of them is cooking. One of them is cooking. Now you could school your children to know how to cook so that you guys can form that into a family activity. The mom knows how to cook, the dad knows how to cook, the kids, they know how to cook. Now the father could decide to set up a cooking competition with the mom and set the kids as the judges, right? Good. So that kind of thing, that's a family activity. So imagine you as a guy, you don't know how to cook. Okay, you don't know how to, because I understand the kids might decide to even take their mom's side, but no harm done. Okay, it's all part of the fun. Now if you're one of those guys who don't know how to cook, I mean, these little addition to the fun, to add fun to your family, you wouldn't even have it. You wouldn't even know about it for you to even add it. You might be thinking of way more lofty things, okay, to make, to infuse fun into your family, but there's one at your fingertips. But just because of one, let me call it unnecessary pride, you're saying, it's a woman's duty to cook, you're depriving yourself of fun time. Okay, so I think if a guy thinks like that, I think he should change his mindset.
Yeah, exactly.
And if he has sons, because I've also seen this in some families whereby the sons, they don't do any house chores. Yeah, because they just leave it for their sisters. If it's doing the dishes, if it's cooking, if it's doing like washing clothes, that's doing the laundry, they leave it for the girls to do. Okay. But at that, I think like that, you're limiting your child's abilities. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I think if a guy thinks like that, I think it's time enough for him to start rethinking.
Exactly. I agree. I definitely agree.
Sorry, guys, no bro code.
Please, brotherhood. He didn't break the code, please. Okay, you're listening to Speedy Talk on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. And our focus for today is, should a guy know how to cook? And we're also streaming live on Facebook at Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM Makurdi. And you can leave a comment there on what you think about guys knowing how to cook. And you can also call and tell us if you think a guy should know how to cook. And the number to call is 090 3648 5868. 090 3648 5868, and tell us what you think. Okay, so Clement, let me ask you now. There are various myths surrounding guys knowing how to cook, different things, mostly from the same guys again. They say guy, if you cook this, that. So can you tell us some of the myths surrounding guys knowing how to cook?
Now, first of all, if if anybody, especially a guy, partakes in any of these myths, because in essence you mean negative myths,
Exactly.
right? Very
Yes.
good. Now, if you're a guy and if any guy participates in these myths, he's just trying to create a smoke screen, just sort of like create an excuse, okay, to not look bad, okay. If you say that, you ought to know this thing. You know it's going to be at your advantage if you knew how to cook, but for some reason you just don't want to admit it that you cannot cook, and so you're trying to make it look all nice, all macho kind of. Now, there's no resource ever that gives it as a fact that if you're a guy and you're a cook, you're less macho than one who doesn't know how to cook. So it's all a lie. Now, one of the myths is that if a guy that cooking is supposed to be for women, okay? Yes, that the man in the kitchen is breaking tradition, okay, and he is not manly enough. He's going into women's lane, okay, he's going into the women's lane, so he's breaking tradition, and it makes him less of a man.
Okay.
That's like I said, there is no resource that gives that as a fact. It's just somebody trying to give an excuse for his, in this case, inadequacies.
Okay.
Right? Good. So that's one. Okay. Now, the other one could also be, let's see, that only soft guys cook. Yeah, only soft guys cook. Okay. But like I told you, in fact, you being able to cook as a man is one way to make your family happy. And if you could make your family happy, I don't see how that makes you a soft guy.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you're making your children, you're making your wife happy. I mean, so how does that make a guy a soft guy?
Exactly.
Good. I would rather say, well, if you cannot, I'm not saying all guys. I'm just saying those of them who are so stubborn about it and they are saying they will not do it, not because of any tangible reason, just because they don't want to do it. Okay. That's you rather missing out on a whole lot of things. So you really shouldn't. You really should not. How do I say it? Continue to remain there and be telling yourself that cooking is for soft guys. No, it's never so.
Okay.
Okay. So another one is that a man who knows how to cook too well would end up spoiling his woman.
Okay. That one is quite funny.
There's a little bit of truth to it.
Okay.
Yeah, because especially a guy who knows how to cook so well. Now the lady might just feel all the time that I can't keep up with this guy. I can't keep. So it's best I just even let him just continue doing it. But then some of that thoughtful guy would try to teach her to be better than she used to be. So she could catch up with him and maybe even surpass him in terms of her cooking abilities. Okay, so those are just some of the stereotypes, so myths rather. Okay, so like I said initially, these things, they don't really have a resource. They don't have research backing them. Okay. There's no real fact behind them that says a guy who cooks so well ends up like all the time he spoils his lady. Okay, and there's nothing that says for a fact that a guy who cooks is less macho.
Exactly.
Okay, and there's nothing that tells us that a guy should a guy that's a strictly female corner. Any guy who goes there is breaking tradition. Okay, it's like I said. So tell me about this. You're living alone. Okay, you're living alone. There's no woman in your life at that point. So you don't want to cook because you'd still be telling yourself alone in your own room that you're doing a woman's job. You know how it feels like when you're watching Tom and Jerry, and then Tom is about to do something stupid because Jerry led him to do that thing stupid, and then he suddenly realizes and he sees himself like a jackass, like a donkey. Good, that kind of thing. So there's no point feeling like that. This is you in your own personal space.
Exactly.
Okay, now facing reality, you need to save resources. Okay, you need to hold your own side. Okay, so why feel like that? Why feel like a jackass? Okay, for lack of a better word. Okay, why feel like a less mature guy when you're dealing with reality? And one of those realities is saving resource. Okay, why waste your money and go to Mama Put?
Exactly. Guys, I hope you're hearing him. Okay, let me read some of the comments we have here on Facebook. So Agani Vehe says, good afternoon, Asking Radio. Saying good afternoon back. Then Regina Biame, she says, I think the question should be, do guys cook? Okay. Then Felix Shawon says, yes, why not? The guys are supposed to know how to cook. In fact, cooking should be as a kind of hobby to guys. Okay. Then Regina goes on to say that that's a borrowed culture you are explaining. Father setting competition for mother and children. Keep to your culture and talk how cooking is. I think she's referring to when you said they could do a cooking competition as a fun thing as a family. Yes, I think she thinks it's not really an African culture kind of thing. I think.
Now, do you know that there's hardly any culture that is entirely unique. Okay, as tribes interact with each other, they take off from each other, they learn they take positives from each other and they use as they progress. Okay, so she talking about that being a foreign culture. Yeah, so what if it's a foreign culture? The thing is it good or is it bad? As far as I see it, it's a fine thing to take from other culture and imbibe into mine, or into yours, as the case may be. So I don't think there's anything bad about that.
Okay. Then Dishon Adamawa, he says, of course a guy should know how to cook. Personally, I can cook very well, especially local delicacies. Being the last born, I used to follow my mother and sisters to the kitchen, and that's how I learned. Cooking isn't just for women, it's a life skill every man should have. Yes, I think we agree with him.
I do too.
And yeah, he mentioned something I wanted to say. Obviously, guys knowing how to cook, it should begin from the home. They shouldn't say, why are you here in the kitchen? Go, 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 go. Kitchen is only for girls. I think also saying, yes, come and learn. You can stay in the kitchen for a while. Maybe you could just learn one or two things. You can still go and meet your father and learn men things. But maybe from time to time, you can also come and help in the kitchen and all that. Okay, so you're listening to Speedy Talk on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. And our focus for today is, should a guy know how to cook? So, Clement, I think we've said a lot. I think we've given guys enough reasons to why they should know how to cook. People should stop saying it's just for women. People should know how to cook. It's important. It can help you, can save your own life. Okay, so I think we're coming to the end of the program. So I don't know if you have anything to tell your guys out there on knowing how to cook. Any last words for them?
First of all, I need to let them know I did not break any bro code.
He did not break the
I was just
bro
being
code.
as factual, as realistic as possible.
Exactly.
Just saying things as they're supposed to be. So if you know what's good for you, you should even take a cue from me. Okay. So yes, the final thing I have to say here is there is nothing bad about you being able to cook as a guy. It's for the most part to your advantage. Okay, now on the side of it being a red flag to some ladies and they'd be like, well, if he knows how to cook, if I ever make any meal for him, he may not be totally satisfied with it. No problems. If she feels like that's a red flag for you, I mean, you don't owe anybody any explanation. Okay, this is you, and as far as I see it, these aspects of you, it's an ability. It's not a shortcoming. It's not a disability. So anybody should see you for that and accept you and be happy about that, about you. Okay, so you being a guy who knows how to cook, good for you. If you're a guy who doesn't know how to cook, no problems. It becomes a problem when you're stubborn about it and you're saying that's how it must be. Okay, I'm saying if you know how to do that, it's an ability that's going to spice up your life for you in very, very many ways.
Okay. So we've come to the end of the program Speedy Talk on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. And our focus today has been, should a guy know how to cook? And I've been your host, Aondonase King James, together with
Clement Sampson.
And we'll see you tomorrow here at 3 p.m. the same time for Speedy Talk. And coming up at 4 is the Speed Lane. So stay tuned and enjoy music of your life.